Hello everyone. Today we're going to go over the three skills, number equations and number lines. We're also going to talk about interpreting negative number addition and subtraction expressions. And then the last skill that we're going to cover is adding and subtracting negative numbers. So let's go back and start with number equations and number lines. We already did a little bit with the number lines in the last lesson. Here we're going to have to fill in some blanks. So as we know that this arrow that's closest to our number line will always represent the first number in our problem or the first integer. As you can see, it's starting at 0 and going to a positive 4, hence why we have a positive 4 as our first number. Now, as you can see, the arrow above it is going in the opposite direction, which tells me that it is a negative. And then we just need to count how many units is the length of this arrow. Well, I can see that it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 units. So that means it's moving a negative 6 because it's going to the left. And then lastly, I can see that the point where it ends, which is right here, is going to be negative 2. And then the last thing you should do is just check it. Is 4 plus negative 6 equal to negative 2? Yes, it is. That's how we know we did it correctly. Let's try another one. So here you can see that my first arrow closest to my number line is going down to negative 3, hence why our first number is a negative 3. The arrow is going in the same direction, so we are going to be adding another negative to it. If it's going in the same direction, you're going to be adding the same sign to it. Then we're going to count the length of this arrow. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 units. So we're adding a negative 5 to it. And let's check to see where it ends. We can see that this point right here on our number line is negative 8. And then our last step is to check it. Is negative 3 plus negative 5 equal to negative 8? Yes, it is. Okay, here we're starting at a positive 2. Notice that they're doing subtraction here, so you have to be a little bit careful. I'm going to actually see where my second arrow ends, and I can see that it ends at a positive 3. Now, the thing that we need to realize here is my arrows are going in the same direction, which means that I would normally be adding a positive to it. But if you look, it's a subtraction problem. So what that means is I need to turn my subtraction problem into an addition problem. And the only way to do that is using that keep change that we've been doing. So in order to make this an addition problem, that means that this second number has to be a negative. Because I can see if I have 2 minus a negative, whatever it is, to equal 3, when I do that keep change, that's going to turn that negative into a positive. And 2 plus what number, what positive number gives me a 3? Well, clearly it's going to be 1. So let's just rewrite what we have. I have 2 minus negative 1 equals 3. Let's just double check it. We're going to do keep change, and that becomes 2 plus 1, which equals 3. Okay, notice that there's nothing here, so we have to fill in the entire equation. It does say write an addition equation or a subtraction equation, your choice. So let's start with our first arrow. We'll do it both ways. I can see that my first arrow closest to my number line goes from 0 to negative 3, so I'm going to start with negative 3. It's going to the right, which on a number line, if you're going to the right, that typically means addition. And then I'm going to count. It's 1, 2, 3, 4 units. And I know negative 3 plus 4 gives me positive 1. And our last step is to just check to make sure this ends at a positive 1, which it does. So written as an addition problem, this would be negative 3 plus 4 equals 1. If I wanted to rewrite it as a subtraction problem, we're still going to have to start with negative 3. And subtraction means you need a subtraction sign and a negative together. So that would be minus negative 4. And that's going to equal 1. I can see that if I did my keep change step, This would become negative 3 plus 4, which equals 1. So basically anything written as, if it's an addition problem, to make it subtraction, you just need to add a subtraction, you just need to add the subtraction sign and change your second integer to a negative. All right, again, we're missing the entire equation, so we got to start with our first integer. So the arrow closest to 0, I can see, is going to a positive 2. It's going in the opposite direction, so that means I am adding a negative number. And let's count the second arrow. It is 1, 2, 3, 4 units. 2 plus negative 4 gives me a negative 2. And our last step is to just check to make sure that this arrow ends at negative 2, which it does. So that means our addition equation would be 2 plus negative 4 equals negative 2. Or if we wanted to rewrite this as a subtraction problem, my first integer stays the same. And then we're just going to switch it to subtraction. And my second integer becomes the opposite. So instead of negative 4, it would be a positive 4. And that's going to also equal negative 2. If I were to rewrite this using keep, change, change, this would become 2 plus negative 4, which equals negative 2. So our second equation, written as a subtraction problem, would be 2 minus 4 equals negative 2. Okay, let's try another one. Again, we're writing the full equation. I can see that my first arrow is going all the way to a positive 9. And then my second arrow is going the opposite direction, so I'm going to add a negative. And we need to count how many units. That would be 1, 2, 3 units. 9 plus negative 3 should leave us at a positive 6. They're different signs, so we subtract. And as I can see, this does end at a positive 6. So one equation would be 9 plus negative 3. The pen's not cooperating. Let's try negative 3 again. Equals 6. Or written as a subtraction problem, I'm just going to switch my addition to subtraction. And my negative 3 becomes a positive 3. And that also works. 9 minus 3 does equal 6. Okay, let's talk about interpreting negative number addition and subtraction expressions. In this skill, they're basically going to give you an expression, and you have to determine which one is the most accurate. It says, which of the following is a correct interpretation of the expression negative 2 minus 7? So the first thing that you want to do here is you want to actually solve your problem. So I'm going to rewrite this using keep, change, change. So that becomes negative 2 plus negative 7, which equals a negative 9. Now notice that they gave you this little number line down here on the bottom just to help guide you. So we've got to figure out which one is the correct one. So it says start at negative 2 on the number line and move 7 units to the left. Well, this is subtraction, and we know with subtraction we move to the left, and addition we move to the right. So if it's a subtraction problem, you would start at negative 2, which would be somewhere around here, and you would move 7 units to the left, which makes sense because negative 9 would be somewhere around here. So we would go from negative 2 to negative 9, which means we would move 7 units to the left. So right away I can see that answer choice A is the correct answer. Right away we can eliminate C and D because the first number in your problem is a negative 2. So you're not going to start at your second integer. You're always going to start at your first integer. Let's try another problem from the skill. Which of the following is a correct interpretation of negative 4 plus 13? So again, I'm going to solve it first. I have different signs, which means I subtract, and I have more positives than negatives, so we're going to end with a positive 9. So it says the number that is 4 to the left of negative 13 on the number line. Well, let's think about this. Let's say hypothetically negative 13 is here. If I go 4 units to the right, or to the left rather, will I be at a positive 9? No. So it's not A. A number that is 4 to the right of negative 13, well, if I go 4 units to the right, that's going to leave me at a negative 9, not a positive 9. The number that is 13 to the left of negative 4, well, let's put negative 4 in. Let's say that's hypothetically right around here. And let's see, the number that is 13 to the left. Well, if I'm at negative 4 and I go to the left, I'm going in this direction again, and that's not going to be correct because our answer should be a positive 9. And the last one, the number that is 13 to the right of negative 4 on the number line, that's going to be our correct answer because obviously from negative 4 to 0 is 4 units. And then to get to a positive 9, we're going 9 more units. And 4 plus 9 gives us that 13 that we're moving to the right. Let's try another one. Which of the following is a correct interpretation of negative 4 minus negative 7? Again, I'm going to do keep, change, change. So that's going to be negative 4 plus 7. I have different signs, which means I subtract, and I have more positives than negatives. So we are looking for a positive 3. So positive 3 is somewhere around here. That's where we should end up. The number that is 4 to the left of negative 7, well, negative 7, let's say, is right around here. So clearly, if I'm going to the left, that's not going to give us a positive 3. The number that is 4 to the right of negative 7, well, if I go 4 units to the right, that's going to leave me at a negative 3, which is not correct. The number that is 7 to the left of negative 4, well, negative 4 would be just a little bit further than negative 3. And obviously, if I'm going to the left, that's not going to get me to a positive 3. And then the last one says the number that is 7 to the right of negative 4. Well, if negative 4 is right around here, to go from negative 4 to 0 is 4 units. And from 0 to 3 is another 3 units. So that would be the correct choice. Okay, which of the following are true statements about the expression negative 6 plus negative 6? Well, the first thing you should notice is that 6 and negative 6 are opposites, which means that they are also additive inverses. And whenever you add additive inverses together, you will always get 0. Notice that this does say choose all answers that apply, which means that there could be more than one answer. So right away, I'm going to circle C because I know that the expression equals 0. But let's take a look at, we can actually eliminate D. Let's take a look at A and B. A says the expression describes the number that is 6 to the left of 6 on a number line. Well, 6 on my number line would be hypothetically here. If I go 6 units to the left, that's going to put me back at 0, which is what we are looking for. So answer choice A is also correct. B is incorrect because it says the number that is 6 to the right of 6, which would put us at a positive 12, which is not the correct answer. Okay, adding and subtracting negative numbers. This is basically just going to be taking everything that we've learned so far and applying it. So we've got negative 8 minus 3 plus 8 plus negative 3. I'm just going to go left to right. I've got negative 8 minus 3. It's subtraction, so we want to do keep, change, change. And that's going to leave me with a negative 11. They're same signs. So we're going to add and keep our sign. Then I've got negative 11 plus 8. Different signs, so we subtract. And I've got more negatives than positives. So that's going to leave me with a negative 3. And then I'm bringing this last step down, negative 3 plus negative 3. Same sign, so we add and keep, and that's going to give us our final answer, which is negative 6. Now, I'm just going to show you a little trick another way. I can see that in this problem, I have a negative 8 and I have a positive 8. We know that those are opposites and that they will always add up to equal 0. So another thing you can do is you can, if you see opposites, you can actually just cross them out. And that leaves me with a negative 3 because the sign in front always goes with it, plus another -3, which also gives us our answer of -6. Just a little trick you can use. You have to be careful though, because you have to make sure it's addition with a negative. It can't be a double negative like you see here. All right, so let's rewrite our problem. I've got -3 minus -4 minus -2 and then +1. Lots of negatives here. So we're just going to go left to right and we're going to do our keep, change, change. -3, add the opposite or keep, change, change. That becomes -3 plus 4, which equals +1. They're different signs, so we subtract. And we have more negatives than positives. Next, we've got minus -2. Again, I'm going to do keep, change, change. That's going to become 1 plus 2, which equals 3. And then our last step is to just add the 1 at the end. And that's going to give us our final answer, which is a +4. Okay, again, we've got some subtraction, we've got some addition, so let's rewrite it. -4 minus 5 plus 4 plus -5. Okay, so going left to right, I'm going to do keep, change, change. So that's going to be -4 plus -5, which gives me -9. And I'm going to bring this step down. That's +4. Different signs, so we subtract. -9 plus 4, I'm going to subtract them. That's going to give me 5, and I have more negatives than positives. So that's -5. And then my last step is to bring this part down. -5 plus -5. Those are same signs, so we're going to add and keep our sign. And that's going to give me my answer, which is -10. Okay, you can also look at the problem, and as you can see, I've got here a -4 and a +4, which are opposites, which means they would cancel out. And that leaves me with a -5 plus a -5, which gives us that -10. Okay, that does it for today. The correlating note-taking packages are on pages 9 through 13. And again, if you would like to see additional examples, you can always watch the videos in Khan Academy. Please feel free to reach out to myself or Mr. Lab with any questions you may have. Have a great day, everyone.